Okay, we are going to continue our lesson with the more difficult questions on Pythagoras Theorem. Okay, can all of you now turn to page 202, example 3. Now, I'm going to draw part A first. Okay, the question says this. Find the length of the unknown sides in the following figures. Give your answers to 3 significant figures when necessary. Now, let me just tell you this. All working must be given to 5 significant figure truncate. Truncate means chop off. And all answers must be rounded off to 3 significant figure if it is not exact. Okay, so let's take a look at this particular example. Now, the 2 unknowns are A and C. Now, it is not possible for me to find C first. I will have to find A first. Okay, let me explain to you why. Now, if you look at this triangle here, this is the right angle, and therefore the hypo will be 25 cm. Remember, hypo is the side that's opposite the right angle. So, I will have 25 squared alone. A squared plus 15 squared is 25 squared. So A squared will be 25 squared minus 15 squared. A will be 25 squared minus 15 squared, the whole thing square root. Okay. Now, if you press your calculator, this will give you an answer of 20 cm exact. Okay. Try pressing your calculator. Okay. You'll realize that it gives you a 20 cm exact. Okay. So we already found A. This is our 20 cm. Alright, now how do we get C? We have to look at this bigger triangle. Now, we know that this side is 20 cm. Now, what is the total of these two lengths? I'm going to add it up together, and it is 35 cm. Now, if you look at this big triangle, the hypo is now C. Okay, so C squared must be 20 squared plus 35 squared. Okay, C will be equals to square root 20 squared plus 35 squared. Okay, so let's take a look at this answer according to the calculator. Okay, try pressing in your calculator as well. It's 40.311. 5 significant figure truncate. Final answer 40.3 cm. So that's how we get the answer. Okay. Now I'm going on to the next example, that is part B. Okay. Part B. Now, students, feel free to pause the video if you are confused, and you can look at it again. Okay. Now, in this particular question, there are 2 unknowns, C and B here. Now, I want to take a few seconds to look at it. Is it easier to find C first? Or is it possible to find C first or B first? Okay. Now, take a look at it. Now, I think you can see that if I highlight this triangle for you, you can see that I can find the length of C first. Now, this is the right angle, therefore C is the hypo. So C squared will be 10 squared plus 24 squared. 10 squared plus 24 squared. The answer will be exactly 26 cm. So this side is 26 cm. Okay, now I missed out one side that the textbook gave you. This is 17 cm. Now if I know this is 26 and this is 17, this is the hypo for this particular triangle here, this one. Okay, so you will realize that 26 cm is now the hypo. So the hypo must be alone again. So we will have b squared plus 17 squared is 26 squared. 26 squared minus 17 squared. So if you pressed your calculator, this will be a 19.672. 19.672. If you give it to 3 symmetrical figure, it's 19.7 cm. So you have gotten the two unknowns as well. Okay, so take a look at these two examples, alright, and see how I present my answer. Take note, the hypo must always be alone on one side. Okay, now next, let me introduce a certain concept to you first about an isosceles triangle. And I believe all of you have, some of you may have remembered it, some of you may have forgotten, but let me just go through it again. Now, if I have an isosceles triangle means that there are two sides that are equal. Okay, I will have, if I drop a perpendicular here, that means a perpendicular line from the top to the bottom, it will divide this bottom line into two equal parts. Okay, this is a property of an isosceles triangle. Okay, now let me just show you work example 4 now on page 203. Okay, the question says this. Find the height of the isosceles triangle ABC with respect to the base BC. Now, just now I just told you that if it's an isosceles triangle, I have a perpendicular drop down here. These two must be equal. So if this whole thing is 3 cm, this will be 1.5. This will also be 1.5. Okay? Now, let us look at this triangle here. Now, if the base is BC, the height will be AM. Base of a triangle, with respect to the height, it must be 90 degrees to one another. So, there's another way to present this kind of answers. I want everybody to look here. This is a triangle, and this will be 90 degrees, and this is the side that is 4 cm. Now, because it's an isosceles triangle, this side is also 4 cm. But I'm concentrating on this triangle here. Triangle ABM. Now, if you realize the hypo is 4 cm and it corresponds to AB. The height corresponds to AM and BM is 1.5 cm. Okay, now this is another way to present it. Hypo is 4 cm. So hypo must be alone, equals to AM squared plus 1.5 squared. Now, it's okay to use this kind of presentation. The length AM squared plus 1.5 squared is 4 squared. Okay? So, AM squared will be 4 squared minus 1.5 squared. AM will be square root of 4 squared minus 1.5 squared. So, let us find out this answer. 4 squared minus 1.5 squared. It will give me a 3.7080 to 5-figure truncate. Okay, to 5-figure truncate. Now, final answer is 3.71 cm. That will complete our part A. Now, let's look at part B. What did they say? Part B says that to find the area of the isosceles triangle. Now, let us revise. Area of triangle is half times base times height. Half times. The base of this triangle is 3 and the height is AM. Now, if you want to use it as a working, you do not use the 3 significant figure round off, you use the 5 figure truncate. Okay? So it will be 3.7080. Okay? Final answer will be a 5.562. So 3 significant figure will be a 5.56 cm squared. Okay, so this is how we use the Pythagoras theorem to find certain length and to make use of the length to find the area of the triangle. Okay, now I am moving on to example 5. This is a football field, okay? The width and diagonal of a rectangular football field are 80 meters and 144 meters respectively. Find the length of the field. Now, if it is a rectangle, all these 4 corners are all 90 degrees, okay? Now, I want to look at this particular triangle. This triangle that I have shaded, okay? Now, you will see that the hypo is 144 because it's opposite the right angle, and this is the length that we do not know. Alright? So, how do I get this length? L squared plus 80 squared is 144 squared. So, L squared so, my final answer. Let's give it to 5 truncate first. This will be a 119.73, which will be a if I change it to 3 significant figure, it should be a 120 meters. So the length of the rectangular field is actually 120 meters. Okay? Now, what did the question say for the next part? Now, the question says that Waylon plans to run around the field once. Find the distance he runs. Now, run the field once means this plus this plus this plus this. Okay? That means I will take this length times 2 and this length times 2. Actually, it's equals to the perimeter of the rectangular field. Okay? Now, so I will take distance will be 80 times 2, which will be this one. Now, I will take L times 2, but I do not take the final answer, I take the 5 figure truncate. So, plus 119.73 times 2, I will get 399.46. Okay, if I round off the 3 significant figure, it will be a 399 meters. That means Waylon will run 399 meters if he runs 1 round, okay, around the field. Alright, so this is another application of Pythagoras Theorem. Okay, now, next, we are going on to how to determine a triangle is right angle. Now, so far, all our questions, the questions already gave you that the triangle is a right angle triangle. But what if I need to prove that a triangle is right angle? This is called the converse of the Pythagoras Theorem. That means the other way round. Okay? Now I'm going to show it to you. Now I'm going to tell you first what it's going to be like. For example, they give you a triangle. Okay? For example, this is, let's say, C, B, and A. And you realize that C is the longest side. Okay? The longest length. So, what you need to do is you go and find C square equals to what answer? Then you find A square plus B square equals to what answer? If these two answers are the same or equal, then it is a right angled triangle with right angle at this particular angle, which is opposite the longest side. Now, if these two answers are not equal, then it is not a right angle, okay, I'll spell everything, triangle. Okay, now how to apply this converse of the Pythagoras Theorem? This one you might not see anything because it's algebra and you are not good with algebra. I'm going to show you with numerical example and how to present your answers. Okay? Alright. Okay? Now, can all of you now turn to page 208? Page 208. Okay. Now, they give you a triangle and they say, the lengths of the following triangles are given. Determine whether the triangles are right-angled triangles. This is example 6 of page 208. Now, if you look at this, they didn't tell you which one is right angle. You're supposed to prove it. Now, first of all, identify the longest side. You will realize that 13 cm is the longest side. So, you go and write this. 13 square is actually 169. Okay? Then you go and find out what is 5 square plus 12 square. Okay? So, let us find out. This is also 169. You realize that these two are actually equal. So, you will write. Okay, since they are equal, you write like that. So, therefore, triangle ABC is a right angled triangle with 90 degrees at B. This is the longest side. This will be the right angle. Okay? It's opposite. Remember? The hypo is the longest side opposite the right angle. Okay? So this is how you prove whether a triangle is a right angled triangle. Okay, let's go to another example. Okay, can you tell me which one is the longest side according to the lengths here? Now, you realize that this 6 is actually the longest side. So, we go and do this. 6 square is 36. Okay, then the other two sides. 3 square plus 4 square. So, this is actually a 9 plus 16. Which is a 25. Okay? Now, you realize that 36 and 25, they are not equal. So, we will write 3 square plus 4 square is not equal to 6 square. So, if it is not equal, that means this is not a right angled triangle. So, therefore, triangle XYZ is not a right angled triangle. If it is not a right angle triangle, of course, we cannot find the angle that is 90 degrees. Okay, so this is how you conclude whether a triangle is a right angle triangle or not. Okay, now let me summarize the whole chapter to you. First thing, we learned about right angled triangles, and it's about Pythagoras Theorem. Okay, we must first of all identify the longest side, which is called the hypo. Hypo is the longest side of the right angle triangle. Okay, and if let's say this side is C, this side is A, this side is B, hypo is always alone. C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared, or you can write it this way. Okay, now another application of the Pythagoras theorem is the converse. Converse means the other way round. If you are given a triangle, then you don't know whether is it right angle. If you can see that C squared is one answer and A squared plus B squared is the same answer, then it is right angle here. If they are not equal, then it is not a right angle triangle, and you cannot find the 90 degrees in the triangle at all. Okay, now class, please be serious about your home-based learning. Okay, refer to the homework that we are giving you, alright, and do it diligently. Alright, thank you class.